Hey, how's it going? So I posted in this group as well as in a few other places last night that I'd be going live today at 11:30. So I'm super glad if you're joining me live. Thank you. Comment, let me know you're here. And if you're catching the replay, awesome. I'm super excited to have you here as well. So what I'm going to be talking about today is 3 things that are keeping you feeling stuck and overwhelmed and feeling like you're running out of time. Okay, so I admit fully that that title's a little clickbaity, but it's really powerful. And one of the things that I've had recurringly come up with people as I've been talking a lot in the last few months with parents, entrepreneurs, is this feeling that we are totally stuck on time, that we don't have enough time, that we're overwhelmed and we're not managing it well. And I really wanted to talk through and work through the reasons why I see this happening with a lot of people and help you come up with some quick ways to start breaking out of that cycle. So first I want to start with a story that I think you can relate to. A couple weeks ago I was listening to one of my favorite business coaches that I love. He has a podcast, and I was listening to this great podcast where he's interviewing this great guest, and he's talking about this morning routine. And they're going over the morning routine that they have, and neither of them have children. And she talks about how she wakes up and she meditates for 30 minutes. She does some writing, maybe 30 minutes to an hour, reading. She's going on, has a cup of tea with her partner. Everything just sounds so lovely, so calm. And I just stood there listening to this because it's probably like doing dishes. I stood there and stopped and thought, wow. Let's just recap what my morning looked like. So this morning, every morning, if I'm lucky, oh, hey, Darcy, yay. So if I'm lucky, I wake up and I get an hour workout in. So not every morning, like this morning, totally slept in because we had a rough night. But if I'm lucky, I wake up between 5 and 5:30 and I get a workout in. Then I come back and it is go time. We are getting kids up, getting them dressed, brushing their teeth. I don't know why it is so hard for children to transition from pajamas to clothing, but I feel like it's a constant struggle. Then it's like getting them downstairs, getting them fed, lunches, backpacks, and I'm yelling. I'm like, why aren't your teeth brushed? Why aren't you doing what I'm asking you to? It's really simple. It's just this frustrating slog. And, I feel like we actually have a good amount of time to get ready, but it still takes forever. So then I, get them all together, we get them out the door, and which is it's a miracle in itself that we can get the kids out the door. Why aren't your shoes on? Can you please put your jacket on, please? I've only asked you 10 times. So we get out the door, get them to school, I get back, it's maybe 9 o'clock. It's a really rushed morning. And I think about this because when I listened to that podcast, I thought so much about how my time, like your time, is spoken for in so many ways. And that's just one of the small examples of the difference between an entrepreneur with kids and an entrepreneur without. That we give our time to our families and our children in so many other places, and we need to be really, really careful with what we do and how we spend all of our time, because we just have it. We have so many demands on it, and it's so careful. So if any of you can relate to that, let me know. So I'm thinking about this because I know that a lot of you are like, please, I need help with time management. This is frustrating. Hey, Elias, so glad that you're joining. And so one of the things that I want to pose, this is one of my fundamental beliefs, is that what if it's that we don't need more time? What if it's not that we need more of it? Because that's oftentimes what people tell me they need. I wish I just had more time because I just don't have enough. But I sort of believe it's not about that. And I'm going to ask you this other question. So I'd like you to close your eyes for a minute. Let's think about before we had kids. How did you manage your time before you had children? Were you like a rock star time ninja who got everything done you wanted to? You felt like you did all the things you wanted. You had the leisure. You had personal development. You took your personal time with your relationships, your friends, your work. Do you feel like you just crushed it? Because I'll tell you that I don't feel like that. I look back at before I had kids and I think, what the hell did I do with my time? And I think about this a lot because it's just fascinating to me how much I can get done now and how little I got done. I don't know. It's just, I don't even know where the time went. Why was it so hard for me to work out? Why did I feel like I couldn't, work on projects that I wanted to? What were the things? So I'm going to have you think about that for a second and go back to that question of, if I just had more time, that would be the answer. Because I'm guessing that your same underlying issues of not being great, hey Melissa, thanks for joining, but your same underlying issues of not being great about managing your time back before you had children and a family are the same underlying issues that are causing you to now feel out of control. So let's talk about what those issues might be. So why you're feeling stuck, I've got 3 different things that I want to chat with. One of them is that you don't have a clear plan, okay? So one of the big issues I see people feeling like they're out of control, they're overwhelmed, is because they don't always have a clear plan of where they want to go. So if you don't know, and this could be just in your personal life, this could be in your business, this could be in your family, but if you don't know what it is you're going for, what happens is you just sort of are reacting constantly to everything that comes up around you and to opportunities or to, just pretty much what everyone else is telling you to do or asking you to do. However, if you learn how to set things of like, this is what I'm trying to get done, and there's like numerous different ways of doing this. You can do this on a long-term scale. You want to look at the next year. Awesome. You want to break that down then into 90-day goals. You want to break that down into every 2 weeks. You want to break that down into every day. It's so powerful. One of the simplest tools that I can give you to do this, to start thinking about this plan, is to just think about, what's the most important thing I need to get done today? So rather than I work with clients on looking at this really big plan, but I would just challenge you to say, if every morning that you wake up, you can say, what's the most important thing I need to get done today? And make sure to get that one thing done. Over the course of the next few months, you will crush it, okay? And sometimes I choose what's the most important thing I need to get done for my business and one for my personal life or family, okay? But that just by prioritizing this one thing, you will make a ton more progress forward. So again, I really see with most people that I'm talking to that their issue, one of their big issues, is that they just don't know where they're going. And I'll just relate that again to if you're like, I'm gonna drive across the country or I'm gonna go on a road trip, but you don't know where you're going. You might see a lot of really pretty sights, but in the end, you might get to somewhere that you don't want to be. And that means that you spent a lot of time getting you to a place that's not even where you want to be. So think about that. If you don't have much time and you feel like you want to get to a certain place as fast as possible, you sure as hell better know where you're going, okay? So issue number 1, that reason that you're stuck, not good on time, is that you don't have a plan. Number 2, one that I see often is the victim mentality. So I see a lot of people being like, I just have so much going on. It's just like, there's too many things. It's overwhelming. And I say, well, you did choose to take some of these things on. You did choose to sign your kid up for this activity. You did choose to be an entrepreneur. You did choose to have children. You did choose to send them to the school across town. That means that you drive them every day to and from. And that if we can start shifting our mindset, and this one is a total mindset thing. And I will just back up for 1 minute, and I will admit that there are 5% of the things out there and life situations that some people are in where it's really not their choice, but they do have a choice of staying in the situation and going forward. And so accepting that maybe some of the things aren't what they ideally wanted in life, but this is where they're at, and that if they can shift that mindset, it's really helpful as well. But so I will admit that some people, maybe it's not as simple as kids activities, but we're going to go to the 95% of you that do have a choice. So what I hear a lot of people saying is just feeling like there's just too many things. And when I really talk with them, when I really dig in with people and say, well, tell me what's going on, and they tell me all the different things that they've got, most of them are by choice. And that if we can really talk about well, why did you choose to do this? Okay, so are you assessing, are you looking at what's going to happen when you choose to do something, how much time needs to be spent doing it, what it's going to require in your family, or how does it shift the demands on your work time to your family or your personal time. So looking at that thing in a mindset way of where you're choosing is really powerful. So I'll give you this quick example that I had just in the last month, that I have my kids signed up for this one activity that happens Mondays and Wednesdays. And it's been great. They go to it Monday, Wednesday after school. And then a month, like in September, I decided to sign them up for swim lessons as well. So it was like a month out. All of a sudden, the week that it was supposed to start rolls around. And that meant that my kids would have been signed up for something on Mondays and Wednesdays and Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I was like, oh, this is not a good choice. So I took a look at that and I thought, yes, I really want my kids to be in swim lessons right now. But you know what? I can't handle this much time. Like, this is just too much time. Like, I think I'll lose my shit. And I think my kids are going to get cranky too, because this is just too many activities for my family and for what I really want us to do. So I called up the swim lessons and I was like, can I postpone it? They said, sure, the next session starts in a month. So I postponed it. That month came around and I thought, I'm still not there. Like, I still can't take that on. And I called and I was like, can I just get a refund? And they're like, sure, we could do that. So it was knowing that, like, I made the choice to sign them up. I made the choice to do this thing, but I also had the choice to back out of it. I had the choice to either forfeit my money or ask them for a refund. A lot of times it's amazing when I'm like, oh, all I had to do was ask. That worked. A lot of people say to me, they're like, gosh, Danny, you know, you guys, you have 3 kids, 2 businesses. God, your life sounds crazy. And it's funny because it doesn't actually feel that crazy to me. Like, and I say to them, I said, well, you know, I chose this life. I chose to have kids. I chose to have more kids. I chose to run my own business. And so this is my normal. And I don't often feel super overwhelmed. So I think I just want you to really work on that mindset space and that victim mentality of, like, not feeling stuck and not feeling like it's happening to you, but that you're the one in the position of power that's choosing these things. And they may require different things on your time, and they may require you to prioritize different things, but that's what you're choosing to do, okay? So first one was that you don't have a plan. Second one is that the victim mentality and that shifting that into saying that it's my choice. So the third reason that you're feeling stuck is because you don't have boundaries, okay? And this is like, this is BFFs to the mindset of feeling like the victim and having the choice. But I love this one because I see it a lot more in women than I do in men. However, I see it across the board. Setting clear boundaries is probably the #1 thing you can do to start guarding your time and to start getting more personal fulfillment and to start feeling in control again, okay? #1 thing you can do, set better boundaries. That is way easier said than done, and I don't deny that at all. But really, when it comes down to it, when I talk to people and they are just constantly letting other people, like, walk on them or just take their time and, like, oh, hey, could you do this for me? Or, like, sending them an email and then they just go do it right away. Don't do that, you know, or just constantly, like, can you do this at this time? Sure, I suppose. But it's like, if that time doesn't work for you, don't do that. Like, find a different time. So there's so many different ways in both our personal life and in our businesses where we can set better boundaries. I'll give you a few quick examples from me and from a couple of my clients. One is that time bucketing. So in our workday, in the time that we're working, setting very clear boundaries about what we do at certain times of the day is really, really powerful. So literally, like for me, I set certain days are client days, okay? I have one client, and I actually, to take some of that emotion out for me, I have a calendar link for when I set appointments with other people, and I get to set the times, the parameters around that, so that when I maybe am talking with someone, I don't feel like I should set that, I should let them, like, infringe on time. That, like, Mondays and Fridays for me are typical work on my business days. I don't take many meetings at all those days. So really thinking about this when I'm bucketing my boundaries. I had this awesome thing with a client, she just texted me this morning. So a couple weeks ago, we were getting really tight on her boundaries. So she has a really successful business, and she's like, she pretty much has like a wait list of new customers, new clients for her. And so taking on new clients takes a lot of time. She's in a financial industry, or not financial, in the, like a, well, anyways, doesn't really matter. But anyways, so taking on new clients requires time for her. So what we did is I said, rather than you filling up your time with these new clients that you don't necessarily even have the time to serve once they come on, what if we bucketed so many hours a week that you took a new client meeting? So over the course of the next, like you have a calendar link where if it's a new person looking to come on board, they sign up, there's only like 4 slots every week where you can have a new client meeting. She just texted me this morning, she said, I'm full through the end of the year already. But what she's done is she's created some super clear boundaries that she's bucketed out other time in her week to work on her business. Because we're working on like really setting some awesome foundational things for her to take her business to the next level in the coming year. And if she doesn't make time for that right now, she's not going to get there. If she's just constantly like letting people come into all the time that she has and like take that time away from her, she won't have the time to work on her business, to drive, to do all the things that we talk about in the strategies. So that's a really powerful way of setting boundaries. In your personal life, like, in our family life, we set some pretty clear boundaries. I rarely do work things on the weekend. I do one networking event a week, and in the evenings, I try not to do more than one evening thing a week, and that, 5 to 8 is really our family time. My husband and I both guard that. Of course, there's outliers, but you set the boundary for what's the most common and the most consistent, and the outliers come up, and you get to choose. Again, you get to choose if that one's worth it. Of course I've attended things on a weekend. Of course I've done more than one event, but it's not the regular, okay? So boundaries, we could do like days and days worth of trainings on boundaries, but it's one of those most important things. So I recommend that you start thinking about the simplest way that you can start setting some boundaries. So in your work, just think about what your work day looks like. How can you start bucketing your time to make it more efficient? How can you set boundaries that you don't check emails certain times, you're working on things at certain times? What are the things that you need to do that are hard for you to get done? What are the things that interrupt you and cause you to go off on tangents rather than staying focused and really in a state of flow? Ask yourself those things and then dig into it. So we've got these 3 things that if you start creating a plan, you will be more efficient with your time. You will be way more effective. If you stop feeling like the victim and you start really having that perspective that, yeah, you know what, I'm in control here. Taking on these things, that's my choice. Your mindset will shift, and you'll also start realizing what you do and don't want to do because it's all your choice, okay? And then boundaries. Having boundaries is so powerful that when you start creating those boundaries and saying no to things, you feel like a ninja. I have one client, this is a sort of a funny side story. I have one client I worked with. She was volunteering her life away, okay? Just tons of stuff. And when I started working with her, we said, what if you take a 90-day break from volunteering? So you give yourself, just clear the decks for 90 days, and then you choose to bring it on as you want. So she did that. And she is, like, she would say yes to anyone before, like, hey, could you help out? And it was pretty much volunteering with her son's school. She'd be like, hey, could you help out with this group and this group? And our school, because our kids are in the same school, there's tons of groups. And the funny thing is that now that I'm actually a co-chair of my daughter's school auction, which, talk about giving away some of your time, it's been a time sink. But now that I'm co-chair and I asked her if she could help out, she's like, oh, sorry, I don't think I have time for that. So we were laughing, but she's been so great about her boundaries. And I see how it's helping her business so much. She's made so much progress because she's putting herself first. She's putting her business and her needs before the needs of others. So I just want to remind you of all those things. So set some boundaries, creating a plan. Don't feel like the victim. So I know that's a really quick thing, but I also have something I would love to invite you to. So after talking to all these entrepreneurs and parents in the last few months, I would love to do a free 2-week sprint mini course of how to reclaim your time. So if any of the things today resonated with you, I'm going to do, and I like 2-week sprints. I think you can get a ton done in 2 weeks. That means we're setting you up during a really busy time to then go into the holidays to relax, enjoy your family. We'll be done by mid-December. So it's 2 weeks where I'll just be doing some quick, because I value your time as well. And I'm the same way. We don't have a ton of time. Quick lessons, quick to-dos on how to then really start setting some of those boundaries. Set a clear path of where you want to go, and they'll give you tons of different tips and pointers and support so that you can start reclaiming that time and feel like you're in control again. Don't feel like you're overwhelmed. Don't feel like you're overcommitted. Start wiping that stuff off the slate and saying, like, this is my time. I'm going to do what I want with it, and I'm going to get a ton of shit done. Okay? Alaya, yay. I hear you say that you're boom, you're in. That's awesome. So if you are interested, please, please join me. So you can drop a comment here. I'll reach out on Facebook Messenger if I don't have your email. I'm also going to be sending out an email to my list. If you know anyone else that's interested, it's free. I just want to give this to you as a gift, especially during a time of such time crunch, that everyone can just really make some progress fast and feel what it's like to start reclaiming that time. Okay? Kelly, yay! Love that you're on here. That's great. Yeah, because it's a tough space, and I promise the lessons will be quick. The homework will be quick, because I know your issue is that you don't have a lot of time. I don't have a link yet, but I will get one, because, you know, I'm doing this on the fly as well. So I don't have a link, but I'm going to get one set up so that it's just a quick opt-in, and get people on a list so that we can get this done and just like really start moving ourselves forward and feeling in control, and then just go out and enjoy those holidays and get ready for 2018, because I know it's going to be big for all of us. So awesome. Thank you guys. I hope that you have a great day. If you have any questions, never hesitate to reach out for me. I'm always willing to talk to people. I've got some fun, awesome things in the works for 2018 to be supporting parent entrepreneurs. I have so many things, so many ideas, and really diving into working with parents has been such a joy for me. So thank you for being on here. Thank you for being part of this group. And if you know anyone else that you think would be great to be in here, join us. So like, add them in. I'm happy to have them. So awesome. I will be getting info out to everyone, and thanks for staying on. This is one of my longer Facebook lives. I've never done one this long, so I laugh, but awesome. Have a good one, guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.